Hello everyone, and before I start the tutorial, just a small announcement. So I have restarted my Patreon, and I'm currently updating my old toon shading in SOP series into the new cops. Okay, so two lessons are already up, okay, which is doing like basic outlines, and the other one is doing like full basic like toon shading. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so I will be updating, I'll be uploading more like next month. So if anyone is interested, so this doesn't replace the entirety of the old toon shading in SOP series, because there are techniques there which are which are more applicable if you want to do stuff at SOP level. But there is a lot that you can sort of transfer over to the new cop. So this is like another test I was doing for like halftone. So yeah, so if you're interested, it's $15 a month. I'll put a link below in the description to my Patreon. Okay, so coming back to this. Okay, so the idea with this was actually pretty like stupid. Was I was trying to see if I can, like, I was looking at like some of the old like 80s graphics, like stuff like this, and I was seeing like if can you just do this directly in cops, right, without having to do anything too complicated. Okay, so this is the final result. Like, this is what we'll make in this tutorial. So this is like random stuff that you can do with cops without having to do like rent. So this is, you can just directly render this. This is all like, there is, it's just a cop network, like there's nothing else in here. Okay, so you can just make this and directly render it out to like 2K, 3K, whatever resolution you want, and you can just use that. Okay, so to get started, the only complicated thing which we have to do at SOP level is we want these lines which are doing this. So I'll start off with a new file. Okay, like I was just testing this out. So this is the result that we want. So just to sort of start off with, I'll keep this to one side. I'll do a cop network. We'll just call it cop network 80s. And I'm going to do a resolution of, let's do 720p. Okay, so I'll do like 1280 by 720, and we can jump in. And so the first thing I want is, we want to generate those lines. So the idea is, like, if I look at it, I should have, yeah, see, so this is what I want to do, but I only want to do it like half, so like this bottom half will sort of keep, the lines just keep sort of going, like what you're seeing here. Okay, like if I look at it at this level, see, this is what you'll get. Okay, so to get started, like, create a SOP import and like just jump in. So it's basically a SOP node. Okay, and what we'll do is, I'm going to take a line, and I'll keep this at let's keep it at 0.5. We'll give it a lot of points. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a resample, and I'm going to give it a curve view. Now take a horizontal line. So this will be 1 in the x-axis, and I'll do a match size so that it's in the center. Okay, and then we can just do a copy to points. So what this will do is, it will transfer the curve view to this. Okay, now what I want to do is take an attribute, just float. By default it generates like a p scale. So what I want to do is, I want the p scale. I'll do set always, and we will do remap attribute, and we'll do curve view. And then I can just take a sweep node, and I'm going to set this to ribbon. And now, of course, there's p scale in there. Let's just bypass that temporarily. Sorry, yeah, there you go. So I was in the front view, that's why it wasn't rotating. So the first thing you want to do is come to the rotate, okay, and take the roll and make it 90. So it's all like this. And then if you turn on p scale, I'll get that. Okay, so I can just like make it smaller till you get this, and maybe a few more points. So of course, don't worry about the points here. Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, in the resample, just turn that off, so you'll have like a lot of points. Anyways, this doesn't matter right now. Like if I reduce the number of points, you'll see it. Okay, but we want a lot of points. So what we need to do is, we need to animate it. And firstly, it should be the other way around. So come into the p scale and just like flip this. So it's going that way. Like if I reduce the p scale, see, that's what we're getting. This is too many. But now what I want to do is like keeping this here, I'm going to animate a line going through this from like bottom to top, and that is what will animate it. Okay, so take another line. This is 0.5 in size, so I'll make this 1.5. And let me just move it sideways temporarily so I can see this. Now take a transform. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it off at minus 1.1. And I'll do like alt click and we'll come to 72 and it'll go to 0. So what will happen is you'll just get this sort of, going through like that. And just shift click on it. So it'll open up the curve editor and change the curve from Bezier to linear. So what we should get is this. And then give it like a bunch of points. Now take an attribute transfer. And this comes in here, that goes in there. So we are transferring the curve view from here to there. And let's just bring that in. And if you look at the sweep, see, I'll get this. Okay, now the only thing I want to do is increase the number of points. And I can actually get rid of, like I can do, like take an add. We'll do delete geometry but keep points. And then I can just take a blast. And I can delete points below 0. So we can do like at p.y less than 0. There you go. So if we look at this and press play, let's see if it loops properly. There you go. So it's looping. And now the only thing I want is I want more points. So just take this and increase it till you get like enough points. So it looks nice. Yeah. So just press play and make sure that it loops. Yeah, I think a little lower. 20 should be good. And that's it. That's what you want. So we can just take this and make it slightly wider. And let's come into the front view. And this is good. So I can come here and come out to the coordinate. Let's just call it animated lines. And then we'll just do a rasterize. So we'll do rasterize geometry. This comes in here. And it just imports an alpha, which is perfect. So we just get this. Okay, now take an SDF shape. This will be my sun. Okay, so I'll just make it tiny. And we also want it, let's move it up because it has to be up there. Okay, like make it smaller still. And I can just take this and we'll do SDF to mono. So we'll get, that. And then I can take a subtract. And then, like just, let's see which one should go first and second because yeah, there you go. Okay, now what I want to do is take a transform. So take a transform 2D and I'll set this to clamp. And I need to do a couple of things. Like firstly, it should move down a little. So just cutting the bottom half, like till there. So if I press play, see, I'll get this. And maybe also just like, let's see if, maybe I should get more points in there. Okay, so let's come in here and a few more points. And I think it's too fast, right? So let's see, let's go to like 120 or something. So is that okay? Yeah, there you go. So that's better. Okay. Or you can make it slower still, like that's up to you. So this is good. This is pretty much what we want. I think you can go higher. So if you want, you can make it like full HD and that will be fine. See, there you go. Okay, so this is good. Now we take a ramp. Okay, so we can take a ramp RGB. I'll set this to, what were the colors that I was using? Okay, I'll just copy this. Come in here, do Control V. Okay. And what I want to do is, we also want like a black ramp behind this. So I can take like a ramp RGB, which can just be black. Okay, and we'll do a blend. So I'll just take a blend here. So this is the background. That is the foreground. And this is my mask. And there you go. Okay, so what I can do is I can just take this and I can adjust it like that. There you go. Okay, so we get this. Alright, so the basic is done. right? But I'm not happy with, like, it looks too fast, right? So let's make a couple of changes to this. So what I'll do is I'll come in here, I'll take the animation and I'm going to push it all the way to, let's click here. I'm going to push this to 238. Okay, because I was doing 240 and it looked a little weird. We'll push it to 238. Let's set this to 120 and let's just press play. See, so now it's slower, which is good. But we may want to make a few changes. So at 120, yeah, okay. So let's make this the beginning to minus 1.02. Let's play this, see what we get. Okay, we're getting like a slight jerk. So we'll come to 120 and just make like a minor change. Yeah, I think that should be fine. So this is the only part that, you have to sort of, yeah, perfect. So this loops perfectly. Okay, so now that this is done, let's do a mirror. Okay, so we'll take a mirror and I'll set this to the angle to 180 and then just sort of, or sorry, the angle to 90. Yeah, okay. And we can just do an offset and then let's do an add so we can see where it goes. Okay, so this comes in here and that goes in there and just sort of, that actually looks nice, like if you press play, it gives a nice little look. But anyway, just take it down till it sort of sits there. Yeah, I think that's nice. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now what I want to do is I want this to have like a little bit of like it's in water. So I'm going to take a distort and I'll take a fractal noise. So the fractal noise also needs to loop. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take the fractal noise, I will like stretch it out a little. I'm going to lower the roughness and I'm also going to get the center to 0 and then just turn on 3D noise and we'll do loop length at 5. So what we should get is, let's just see if it loops. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now what I also want is I wanted to distort just in the middle. So I'm going to take, so first of all, change this to UV. Okay, because it needs to be UV. Now take a ramp mono, set this to vertical and do a multiply. And what I can do is, so I just want stuff in the middle over here like that. And then nothing at the top either. And I can feed that into my distort. So this is the source, the mirror. And this is what will distort it. And I can just take the pixels per step to be a little high and then we just distort it. And what that does is, see, it just distorts like that part. And it loops perfectly. And then that feeds into this. So if we play this now, we get a perfectly decent, looping animation. Now let's take care of some other stuff. So I want like a gradient. Okay, so we'll take another ramp. Let me see if I can pick it up from here. Okay, because I had like done proper values, so it worked a little better. Okay, so let me just see. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so that's my ramp. So I'm just going to copy this. So do Control C and come in here. I'll do Control V. Okay, so it looks like this. And then I can just do an add again. Yeah, the foreground background doesn't really matter, but we can just take this. There you go. Just adjust it so that like I want the blue line here in the middle. And I also want like the water to, like this is supposed to be water, then I want that to be distorted as well. Okay, so we can just take another distort, or I can duplicate this actually. So do like Control C, Control V. And the only change is like this comes in here. So what you'll get is like, see, that also distorts a little. And that comes into the add. So we get, Okay, so this is good. I want to do like one thing, which is, I wanted to, firstly, I want to add some stars to this. So let's add some stars. So what I'll do is, I'm going to take a SOP import. Again, let's call this as points. And I'll just come in here. I'll take a grid. Like just unplug this. Set it to XY plane. Let's set this to 2 by 2. And I'll just scatter some points on this. So scatter some points. Like not that many. I'll lower the relax iterations, or just remove it altogether. And I can just take a circle temporarily, like take a primitive, and then I'll just set the p scale. So I'll do float, so attribute it just float. This is my p scale, and I will set this to random. So set always random, and just do copy to points. Yeah, okay, so this is too big, so let's just lower the size. Okay, let's keep it to that. I can just get rid of this, and we'll come up here and I'll take a stamp. So we'll do like stamp points. This comes in here. Yeah, so we get this, and set this to circle. Okay, and I can also like just soften it out a little bit. There you go, that looks nice. And I want to mask it a little. Okay, so we'll do an add. Okay. Or actually I want like random color, so I can do something interesting. So I can do like, let's type in random. So we'll do a random RGB, and the ID goes into the seed, and set this to 0 negative IDs. And I can set this to yeah, I think that should be fine. And then this goes on top. Okay, so this comes in here, and that goes in there. Yeah, except that we don't want firstly we don't want anything below, and then we also don't want anything in the circle. Okay, so what I can do is I can do a mask. So we take our circle. Okay, so I'll just take a null here. I can take this circle and just move it all the way out here. Okay, so let's do one thing with this, because I don't really care about like I just don't want the stars to be like, inside this. So I can take a multiply, and I can do an invert here. Yeah, so what that does is it just sort of cuts out the stars, in that area. Like if you bypass this, you have like a star here, so you can just get rid of that. And then we can also give it like a distort, and like, have the stars, actually no, we'll have to do something else as well. Okay, hold on, we'll need another ramp here. Okay, so let's take a ramp mono. We can yeah, let's take another multiply here and do vertical and plug that in. Yeah, okay, and then I can just take this, and there you go. So no stars there. Yeah, that's perfect. And now if you want, we can do all the same stuff. So I can just take that mirror, see this mirror node, I can just do Control C, Control V, and like drop it in there. See, so all of those get mirrored down here, and we can like add these together. See, so we have like, those mirrored down here, and maybe we can also try to, and then we can also distort it. So I can just do the same thing, like we can duplicate this distort. So Control C, Control V, this comes in here, and that same fractal goes in there. Okay, let's play this and see what we're getting. Yeah, that's not bad. I honestly don't know why I'm doing this, but it was just an idea of like how far can you push like the new COP network, because it's almost like having, like a compositing and motion graphics thing built into Houdini. So why not? Okay, so now a couple of final things. I wanted to sort of like bevel this a little bit, and I realized that you can use something called as convolve 3x3. I don't know how it works. It's mostly like an edge detection thing, but you can sort of, do some fancy stuff with it. So I can take a convolve. So you'll take a convolve 3x3, plug this in. The one thing you want to do is make sure you turn on normalize kernel, and then I'll just set these values. So this was supposed to be 1.4, and this is 3.5. So you can see like it has a little bit of beveling on the side. Okay, and then the bottom in the X, I'll make it -1. See, so you get like nice little beveling on the whole thing. It looks a little weird, but it's nice. And we can like lower the mask, so it's just like a little bit. Okay, now add some glow. So we're like almost done. So take a glow here. I can add some glow. So I will increase the brightness. I will increase the saturation to about 4. And like let's lower the threshold. Yeah, and then increase the size here. And I'll set this to maybe like a blue. Okay, let's get this lower still. Yeah, okay, so that looks nice. We can increase the, yeah, I think that looks good. and we can kind of like adjust that. Yeah, let's set this to HD, see what we get. Yeah, there you go. See, so like if I make this wide enough, so you get that. Like if you press play, Houdini decided to crash. Hold on, I'll restart and come back. Let me set this to 720. Yeah, it just decided to like I can't do this, and it died. Not the greatest thing, but it gives you ideas of what you can do with the new COP network. Okay, and as a final thing, I'll just give it, let's give it some chromatic aberration. That always looks nice. So you can do like some chromatic aberration here. And what I'll do is I want to like increase the blue and lower this a little bit. Yeah, that looks decent. And for a final thing, like just for fun, I can try this, which is we can take a fractal noise. Okay, we'll take a fractal noise 3D, and I'm going to set, like, make the element size really small, so it's very grainy. I'll just adjust it, and I want to offset it, like a lot. So in the Z, I'll do it to add frame. So it's mostly just like grain, like going really fast. And I can take this and do a multiply. See, so we'll get this. Actually, try setting it to burn. Ooh, okay, that's like way too much. Hold on. Yeah, just lower that, and then just like adjust the contrast and adjust the center. I think multiply is better. And adjust the amplitude. So you'll get like a little bit of, see, like grain on top of the whole thing. Again, we can adjust the stars a little bit if you want. Like I can take this stamp and like lower it a lot, and like, jump in here, increase the scatter amount. Okay, that's like way too much. Okay, that's not bad. And you can take like an HSV, adjust, and like see what colors you like. So I can sort of like move it around. Yeah, so there you go. So I don't know what you can do with this, but yeah, stuff that you can do with cops. Okay, now if you want to render it, it's pretty simple. Just take a null and call it out. Call it whatever you want. Just set the output to like C. Okay, and then take a ROP. So take a ROP image output, and in here in the cop path, just drag and drop this. Set your frame range. Okay, so we'll do like delete channel 120, and it'll pick up the frame size automatically, and that's it. You can hit render and it'll render out the whole thing for you. All right, so before I close this, I just wanted to do one thing, which is I think I want to fade out the reflection a little, so I'll just take this and I'll take another ramp. Actually, we can just duplicate this one. So do Control C, Control V, and I can take a multiply, and we can multiply it with this ramp here. Okay, so what I can do is I can just take this and yeah, there you go. So we can just sort of fade it out. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So I can also multiply this with the stars if I want, like I can come in here and like this mirror, I can do a multiply here. So the same ramp I can just pick up from, where was it? Yeah, there. Okay, so we can do that, So the stars kind of fade out in the base as well. Like you can see a little bit, but mostly it's kind of gone. So this is it. So this is random stuff that you can do with cops. So I have a few more examples. I'll make a few tutorials out of that as well. Okay, that's pretty much it.